The Indian casualties include an officer and 19 soldiers. It has been reported that the army officer killed in the clash was a commanding officer of a battalion at Galwan. The last time such a thing happened was in Tangla of Arunachal 45 years ago, way back in 1975, with 4 Assam Rifles men had been killed. The situation turned worse after around scores of soldiers were engaged in a violent face-off on May 5th and 6th at Pangong Tiso, following which another similar episode occurred at North Sikkim 3 days later. The face-off took place during the de-escalation process underway in the Galwan Valley. The incident comes day after Army Chief General Narwane said both sides have begun disengaging in a phased manner from the Galwan Valley. We have started from the north, from the area of the Galwan River, where a lot of disengagement has taken place. It has been a very fruitful dialogue that we have had, said the general. No bullets were fired in the clash. Instead, stones and clubs were used, according to the sources. According to reports, the army men died due to the injuries sustained from stone pelting by the Chinese. However, there is no official word on it, news agency PTI said. The two armies are engaged in a standoff in Pangong Tiso Galwan Valley, Demchok and Daulat Beg Oldi in eastern Ladakh. A significant number of Chinese troops have transgressed into the Indian side at several places including Pangong Tiso. The latest border feud was triggered after China took offense with India laying a key road in the Finger area around the Pangong Tiso lake. The road is crucial for India to carry out patrol. Another factor was the construction of another road connecting the Dabak share of Daulat Beg Oldi Road in Galwan Valley. The border crisis started at eastern Ladakh when Chinese troops intruded at 4 locations and set up forces in depth. In early May, China began building up in strength along the LAC in eastern Ladakh. This included heavy vehicles, tanks, artillery, and more than 6,000 troops. The ongoing standoff at Ladakh different from earlier episodes like Depsang and Chumar. This is not a clash triggered during patrolling. This is a well thought out of move of China's part to pressure India simultaneously as multiple locations. China has mobilized troops and equipment at those locations, including artillery and even tanks on each side of LAC, and digging defense there. PLA has been ramping up its strategic reserves in its rear bases near LAC with artillery guns, infantry combat vehicles, and heavy military equipment. Meanwhile, India has also set up the intended infra in those locations. The India Army has stationed troops and equipment matching the Chinese number. India has decided not to stall any border infra projects because of Chinese protest. The India-China border feud straddles many points along 3,488 km long LAC. One prime such example being Arunachal, which China claims as a part of southern Tibet. Although high-level efforts are on to defuse the situation, a quick resolution of this standoff at Galwan doesn't seem likely now. Chances are that it could be prolonged in pace, with India unlikely to budge even as China appears unwilling to pull back. China's state-run newspaper Global Time has already made a claim that clashes were triggered when Indian troops as they crossed over the Chinese side and carried out attacks on Chinese soldiers.